Hello and welcome to today's broadcast with me, Davina, or DavCat43. I want to talk about Trump's tariffs and how they wrecked the manufacturing sector in 2019, causing a recession, and would be a terrible proposal for America's economy going forwards. We also have to worry about Elon Musk coordinating with Donald Trump's campaign, having had a corrupt decision by the Supreme Court in 2010 give us Citizens United, a decision that awarded money, the protections of the First Amendment, as money was conflated with speech. So sure, the more money you have, the more speech and influence you should have in the United States. It's not really doesn't really jive with the rule of law and with the idea of government to balance out sort of might is right ability of the ultra rich to gang up against the interests of the working and middle classes. But here we go. That's what Elon Musk is doing. He's reportedly giving so much money and even personally walking around doing door knocking in Pennsylvania to go with all the massive amounts of in-kind donations he's made to the Trump campaign via turning over the Twitter algorithm to enhance the visibility of Republican politicians and pro-Trump posting, including posting himself multiple times that the US will only have a future as a democracy if Donald Trump is elected, which is extraordinary because, of course, Trump is the anti-democratic president, the man who incited a riot at the Capitol, hasn't denied it because he can't, or he says, I had nothing to do with it. But literally everybody heard the lies, the campaign of lies that despite all his legitimate court, at least directed efforts to overturn the results of the 2020 presidential election, he lost those and turned to illegitimate ways to try and stay in office, which isn't just to overturn one election. If you manage to get yourself in office in the teeth of a democratic process that has said you must leave office, then you are installing yourself as an unelected dictator for the period, an undetermined period. You don't just overthrow democracy and then go, okay, I'll serve a 4-year term. Trump, if he'd succeeded in overturning Joe Biden's election win in 2020, would not have left office until death or disability compelled him to do so. And even then, he would have tried to find a way to install dynastic rule and get a close family member, for example, one of his children, the kind of people who he employs, because family don't snitch to law enforcement. Let's have a listen to this video here because it's about tariffs. And I am not the only person. It's economists, but others have to amplify the voice of economists to point out to Americans who are voting in this election how bad tariffs would be for their personal wallets, their communities, and the economy in general of the United States, to say nothing of the world, because the American economy is currently so strong that world economists are saying that it is lifting the global economy.
Job creation. But Donald Trump was uniquely
Oh, that's a good point. 50 to 1. Hang on.
Job creation.
50 to 1
Donald
job creation,
Trump
yes.
was uniquely bad, presiding over a net loss of nearly 3 million jobs, the worst jobs numbers of any president in history. Part of that was because of his failed pandemic response. But even before COVID, the economy had been slowing under Trump's watch. It shouldn't be too surprising. Trump's managed to drive almost every business he's touched into the ground, including multiple casinos. I didn't even know it was possible to lose money running a casino. And Trump's second-term economic plans could cost you a lot of money. 3 key facts. Number 1, Trump's promising massive new taxes through his tariff plan.
We want tariffs.
Trump seems genuinely befuddled about what tariffs are. Now, if you're not familiar with tariffs, that's fine. But for a supposed international businessman, let alone a president of the United States, not understanding this entry-level concept is weirder than...
You know what I'd do if there was a shock or you get electrocuted? I'll take electrocution every single time.
Yeah, it's weirder than that. Tariffs are taxes on imported goods, and they're paid by the country importing them. Us, not the other country. Trump has this backwards, and I've been fact-checking him on it for years.
China, they're paying tariffs. They paid us tens of billions of dollars.
Tariffs are not paid by the other country. China is not paying the tariff. The tariff is paid by the U.S. importer, and that cost is usually passed on to the U.S. consumer.
Honestly, I don't know if Trump is lying or just having senior moments, but let's be clear. U.S. tariffs are taxes on Americans, When Trump promises to increase tariffs,
We're going to raise your tariffs.
he's promising to raise your taxes, as even Fox Business pundits will tell you.
Remember, tariff is a tax. Tariff is a sales tax.
Now, tariffs targeted at specific goods can be used to give U.S. manufacturers an edge in certain areas. But blanket tariffs, like Trump's, just drive up prices willy-nilly, which is exactly what happened in Trump's first term.
He did impose rounds of tariffs, and it cost Americans nearly $80 billion in new taxes.
Trump's second-term tariff plan would cost you even more. He wants much bigger tariffs this time around.
You're talking about 60% tariffs on Chinese goods. Is that in the cards?
No, I would say maybe it's going to be
More than that. Wow. So whoever that guy is, I have to look him up because he says he's been fact-checking Trump on tariffs for years. Who bloody Ray? Tariffs are paid by American importers, and you institute them as a deterrent to promote American manufacturing, except that they have to be used judiciously, because if you are going to have a tariff, then your trading partners can do retaliatory tariffs on goods imported from America into their country. Now, this guy who's just talking said that how could Trump not understand that? He went to Wharton and at least somehow managed to graduate with a business degree. I would say Trump does understand that tariffs work by being an import tax, and that the money is paid by American manufacturers, American importers. And American manufacturers, incidentally, who import sometimes component parts from China before assembling a finished product in the United States. But I would say he does understand. But what he understands maybe better than a lot of people is how to weaponize racist stupidity and how to weaponize racist gullibility. So Trump knows that, and he is allowing for a massive amount of wealth to be transferred from American importers to whoever he says you get the benefits of the tariffs, because American farmers were hurt so much by his massive deployment of tariffs, which is like a fascist tool of politics, because fascism is all about posturing to have strength and picking fights to show strength and putting people in concentration camps to show strength. And then you have to keep feeding the fire of this public appetite you've created and fed for shows of strength and dominance, including violence, state-orchestrated violence. So not just militarism against other countries, yes, militarism against other countries, but also state-orchestrated violence against inhabitants of its own country. So for Hitler, it was Jews. For Donald Trump, he's proposing to round up and put in camps between 11 and 25 million migrants to the United States, because they're his just chosen group to pick on, using the people who've already been pre-vilified conveniently for him by Fox News and right-wing media for decades upon decades. So he knows how to weaponize that pre-existing, that groundwork already laid by Rupert Murdoch's fascination with weaponizing for profit, the capacity of the human heart to hate not tribe, to hate others, and celebrate whoever's perceived to be authentically us. So Trump paid farmers, the farmers who successfully applied for relief. And there were a lot of farmers who weren't successful. They were on the smaller side. They couldn't use the big banks in the same way that Donald Trump had orchestrated this program to reward farmers. But farmers lost so much money, and the suicide rate of farmers went up while he was in office and while his tariff plans were taking effect. He gave them $28 billion worth of public money. It was originally slated to be smaller, but people kept applying because their profits were so slashed by the outcome of Trump's retaliatory trade war that he had kicked off with China, Mexico, even Canada. So blanket tariffs, stupidly imposed tariffs, which fit his agenda of strongman, fascist posturing, strength posturing, dominance plays. So no, tariffs aren't a smart business move, but they are straight from the handbook of talk smack about your opponents and act like you are being so tough all the time. Doesn't have to be effective, doesn't actually have to help people. It has to sound tough. That is the primary consideration for what Trump talks about. What does he promise? To act tough. Is it a sound, sensible policy? Did it help Americans when he did it before? No, it massively hurt Americans. And I'm going to bring up on screen how much Trump hurt the American manufacturing sector and consequently people with jobs in that sector in 2019, because Donald Trump created a recession, a localized recession in the manufacturing industry. This is why economic growth was beginning to stall in 2019. So I'll show you the date of this article. When do you think this was published? Manufacturing is now officially in recession despite Trump's vow to boost industry. It is pre-COVID. Have a look at this date. Can you see it? This is 2019. I'll make it bigger. October 11th, 2019. This is when the fruit of Trump's proposals bore fruit, because he's targeting people's minds so that the people who've watched enough reality television to have formed in their hearts and minds this unshakable connection or association that Trump is successful and wealthy because they watched a reality TV show where con artist, money launderer Donald Trump was positioned, was portrayed, had the magic of reality TV at his disposal to make him look successful and sound successful. He had scripts written for him. He apparently, according to Neil, what's his face, the dude who was a showrunner for a lot of celebrities, and he has said they called The Apprentice colloquially the shit show because of Donald Trump's propensity for pooping your pants when involuntarily, sometimes as a consequence of abuse of methamphetamines and speed, and basically crushed Adderall, a drug that can be used to increase focus and attention. And I would say he's probably got undiagnosed ADHD. Sure, narcissism is one type of way of medicalizing his problem, which is that his personality is incredibly transactional. And I would say is just more a product of his decades of criminal behavior. You have to be always looking out for yourself if you've engaged in so much crimes that prison awaits you unless you can successfully bully people and bully elements of the legal system and exploit the media to bully your opponents as well. That's a product of being a decade-long unrepentant career criminal. So I don't need to medicalize it by calling it narcissism, but he's transactional, he's self-serving, and he's a con artist. And he borrowed money from banks, and he told the banks, oh, I've got all this cash flow. Have a look at the cash flow. And the cash flow was not revenue from his business. His cash flow was money coming in from mom and pop little investors who were impressed by his use of the media to showcase his gold toilets and his succession of hot wives. So they thought, oh, wow, he's really got the trappings of wealth. And their ability to be easily fooled was harvested by Donald Trump, who then used that income to pretend to banks that he had business revenue from successful businesses. But Donald's businesses have always involved the harvesting and grifting off of people who didn't know any better and should have. But, you know, that's how casinos work. People who don't know the rule, the house always wins, are the kind of people who go to casinos because maybe they think they'll be special and different. And maybe they do get lucky, beginner's luck or whatever. The point of gambling is that you get lucky intermittently, and overall you get so hooked to that feeling of hooray, I won, I'm special, I'm lucky, I'm favored, gods have blessed me, I'm worthy of love. All of those delusions that you get when you get some unexpected luck that you can't put two and two together and look at the big picture, which is you're losing hand over fist, your money to a casino, because ultimately that the house wins out. And you will get stuck in your little limited addict behavior of returning to the place that gave you a feel-good boost one time and validated you as feeling worthy enough of good luck. Because people believe in karma. You know, a lot of people are like, oh, if you're lucky, you deserved it. If you're unlucky, it's karma coming to get you. So because people have that belief, sometimes they need to feel that kick of good luck again. They want to have that win feeling. And a casino will let you win periodically. It knows that over time, they will extract more money from you than you will ever take home. So, yeah, Trump was able to go, oh, yeah, that's the kind of way I want to make money. Squeeze stupid people's money out of them. But he himself, unfortunately, is too stupid to make that work. So he built too many casinos next to each other so that he crowded his own self out of the business of squeezing money from human lack of mathematical knowledge. My maths teacher very memorably said that to our class, that gambling is for people who are bad at maths. Anyway, and owning casinos is for people who are good at understanding business and human nature. Donald Trump doesn't understand business, but he does understand human nature. So the business failings came up because he didn't understand that he was crowding himself out of business by acquiring multiple casinos in competition with each other in a small space. His Taj Mahal, whatever casino. And he's also like, yeah, but I supplement my income with crime. Shouldn't that keep me in the black? No, Donald, you're still too stupid even to money launder profitably. So, yep, his casinos closed down because his understanding of human nature made him know that people are attracted to flashy, glamorous things. Oh, I got to go. All right, talk again another day. Don't forget that date. You've got to look it up yourselves. October 11th, 2016. It's a report in the LA Times. Donald Trump knows you have to manipulate the media. Oh, is that my husband? Could be my husband. Anyway, I'm going to go, but let's talk soon. I'll try and come back after I get my daughter. Okay, bye.